We need to focus on the small details in order to appreciate the broad perspective. To help you understand our world better, Insight looks at its people, its issues.
Welcome back. Here are our top stories. Palestinian protesters clash with police near a Jerusalem holy site sacred to Jews and Muslims. Another U.S. Democrat is expected to make it official. He's running for president, and authorities await final test results from the autopsy on Anna Nicole Smith. Those results may not be actually available for up to 5 weeks. The 39-year-old model died on Thursday after she was found unconscious in a Florida hotel room. Police say there were no signs of any physical injuries to Smith or signs of long-term drug abuse.
At this point, no evidence has been revealed to suggest that a crime occurred. We found no illegal drugs, only prescription medicines. We are not releasing the names on those prescriptions.
Meanwhile, as Brooke Anderson reports, the paternity battle over Smith's infant daughter is intensifying.
Nicole Smith created a sensation wherever she went, and now, even in death, she still can't rest in peace. Not yet.
Judge Snyder of Los Angeles Superior Court wants the remains of Anna Nicole Smith to be preserved pending the February 20th hearing.
Deborah Opry, lawyer for Larry Burkhead, one of the men claiming to be the father of Anna Nicole's 5-month-old baby girl, Danny Lynn Hope, went to court seeking an emergency DNA test of Anna Nicole's body to help confirm who the baby's parents are. Her motion was denied.
I'm trying to think of a word I can use in front of the media, but that's a bunch of nonsense.
Ron Rail, Smith's attorney, called today's closed-door courtroom hearing ludicrous and disrespectful.
I just didn't like the idea of trying to get her DNA, giving me notice of a court appearance on right after she died, to come to court here on what I consider a frivolous appearance, which was denied.
The mother's DNA isn't necessarily required to determine who the father is. Opry wanted Smith's DNA for a different reason.
It is very important that the DNA connect Anna with the baby being tested. We do not want a bait and switch.
What's at stake here? The custody of Smith's 5-month-old daughter, an inheritance that could be worth millions for the surviving parent of Danny Lynn. So who is the biological father of Danny Lynn Hope?
So you are the father?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you make of that?
Well, it's just one big lie.
Two men, Howard K. Stern and Larry Burkhead, both tell CNN they are the baby's daddy. But just who are these potential fathers? Larry Burkhead is a Los Angeles-based freelance reporter and photographer. He claims to have had an intimate 2.5-year relationship with Smith, at one point resulting in a miscarriage.
Actually, Anna asked me to marry her several times throughout the relationship.
Howard K. Stern was Smith's longtime lawyer and friend. He was frequently featured alongside the star during her cable reality show. He says he had an intimate relationship with Smith.
Because of my relationship as her lawyer, we felt that it was best to keep everything hidden.
Both men say the other had no intimate relationship with Smith. Just when you thought the drama couldn't get stranger, another character came crawling out of the Hollywood woodwork. Prince Frederick von Anhalt, husband of actress Zsa Zsa Gabor, claimed today that he had a 10-year affair with Smith, suggesting he might be the baby's daddy.
There are lots of people who could be the father.
Could you be the father?
I don't know. I mean, you know, sometimes I'm a bad boy, yeah.
Brooke Anderson, CNN, Los Angeles.
Let's get the weather forecast now. Here's Martin Jeans.
Thank you very much. Back here at World Weather, I want to update you on what's happening in Jakarta, Indonesia. They've seen the worst flooding for 5 years, of course, over the past few weeks. River levels, flood levels have begun to recede to an extent that we will still be dealing with some heavier showers across the region, and certainly potential for a few in Jakarta on Saturday and also on Sunday. Let's take you in there now and show you how it looked on the ground Friday. the flood levels are dropping now. You're looking at pictures of piles of garbage on the side of a river, but you can see the river levels are going down. And you can see some local people there just picking their way over what looks like a collapsed bridge to find out what's really left of their homes. Over 200,000 remain homeless or displaced from their homes in Jakarta this weekend, many of them in emergency shelters, and authorities are increasingly concerned about the threat of disease in the city. Take you around the world now to some more severe weather, this time in central parts of Peru. Torrential rain has caused landslides in the Amazonian central part of Peru Friday. 7 people were killed by the landslides and thousands displaced. Now, people are trying to get away from the danger zones here, but they're really finding it a very difficult job because many of the communications, the roads in the region, are completely blocked by mud and debris. Very scary situation there. And more rains are likely, we think, across central parts of Peru during the course of this weekend. Of course, we've also had the floods recently in Bolivia and some heavier rain, too, for southeastern Brazil on Saturday and Sunday. Here's the picture across Europe. More rain heading into the western part of the continent. It's been turning to snow on Friday across the central UK. That'll be turning back to rain. And we'll still be dealing with snow, I think, further to the north across Scotland. Scattered showers for Ireland, but there will be some drier spells there. Very unsettled for the central Mediterranean, and I think across more eastern areas, very cold, well below freezing across western Russia, indeed southern Scandinavia, but at least there you'll see the sun in Oslo and Stockholm. You'll see some snow there in Moscow, and by the time we get into Sunday, stronger winds moving into central areas, bringing further areas of rain. Finally, into Mozambique, more storms likely here. They're dealing with serious flooding concerns as well, serious flooding across central parts of the country particularly. There is a tropical cyclone northeast of Madagascar. It should be moving away and staying north of Mauritius over the next 48 hours.
With the death of a policeman last week at a football riot in Italy, attention has been refocused on soccer hooliganism, how to control fans whose violent behaviour threaten lives and property. Jonathan Mann took a closer look at how one country has dealt with the problem.
The short answer is yes. Football has been infamous for the violence and tragedy that surrounds it, and British hooligans have been the worst, but they're not anymore. Just have a look at what British lawmakers have done, reading hooligans the Riot Act. 8 different laws in a 15-year span. The Sporting Events Act of 1985, for example, made it illegal to try to get into a stadium when drunk. Within just 4 years, it wasn't just the drunks the government went after. The Football Spectators Act of 1989 allowed courts to ban convicted hooligans from matches abroad and allowed courts to force them to report to the police, essentially to prove they're not at a particular game. The Football Offences Act of 1991 outlawed racist chants and other newly designated offences, and then the government revisited the problem of hooligans abroad. The Football Disorder Act of 1999 allowing courts to force convicted hooligans to temporarily surrender their passports. Then just the next year, the Football Disorder Act of 2000, which allowed courts to ban fans even if they've never been convicted of anything, if the court believes it will prevent violence. But the most important change came elsewhere. It came from a disaster. In 1989, 96 people were killed at the Hillsborough Stadium, many of them crushed in a pen that had, with sad irony, been fenced in to prevent fighting between hooligans. After Hillsborough, fan safety became paramount, and today stadiums in Britain are different. Take Old Trafford in Manchester, for example. It was built a century ago, but today it is changed beyond recognition. There are no more pens, capacity is limited, and there are no standing, jostling crowds because every spectator is assigned to an empty seat, and more than enough stewards are in place to monitor things before they get out of hand. CNN's Jim Bolden reports on the result.
You have to go back many years to find English supporters behaving like this inside a football ground. England's hooligans started to take control of the terraces in the 1970s. By the 1980s, the so-called disease got out of hand. Andy Nichols was one of them.
In the 80s, it got to a stage then where it was more organised. And, shall we say, the people knew who they were looking for. If you went to the football, an away match, you had to be prepared to come under attack.
The disease also followed fans when their clubs traveled abroad. In 1985, 39 Italian fans were crushed to death while they were fleeing Liverpool supporters before a cup final in Belgium. In the wake of the tragedy, England teams were banned from playing in Europe for 5 years. And British law was changed so some fans could be barred from attending matches. But it took the death of 96 Liverpool supporters in 1989 during a match in England that led to big changes.
All-seater stadiums, prices went up. Numbers of fans coming through the gates goes down because obviously to sit down you can't pack as many people in. So therefore to afford the running of the clubs you need to charge slightly higher ticket prices, which pushes up the average age.
The police set up a football intelligence unit, taking photos of fans and arresting troublemakers. They were also given powers to stop fans traveling abroad. Andy Nichols served jail time and was also banned for life from seeing his team Everton play.
Dear Mr Nichols, you're currently subject to a football banning order. You're advised not to travel to the area surrounding Manchester city centre, and you'd get these all the time.
There were still problems outside football grounds in 2000 when England fans traveled with the national team to the Netherlands and Belgium. So the police now have powers to confiscate passports of people they believe may cause trouble. And they can be banned from matches even if they haven't broken any laws. In the past 3 seasons, British authorities say arrests at club matches in England have dropped 22%. And with over 3,000 people banned from traveling from England to Germany for last year's World Cup, authorities say just 21 England fans were arrested for football-related offenses.
And that's why many fan groups here say start pointing fingers elsewhere, places like South America and Eastern Europe, and now, of course, Italy. Jim Bolton, CNN, London.
How different are things in Italy? In recent years, Italian authorities adopted the British model and a number of the very same measures. The difference was that they were largely ignored until now. Now Italy says it will be playing by the rules. Back to you.
Jonathan Mann there reporting. We'll take a look at the headlines after this.
By far, kurasuale rating ki coach to yes ke marks me imtihano marks dekho ta me gaum ka de marks sengi mark hoye agiyetu emme rangal mark ko me liben triple A de rajya triple A liben to nuriben to sual kure sual ke agun de ek sual jawab danna ka adi agun me rating hoda me hama sekte kure fani agun me wah dakko me gendani S&P Standard & Poor me JP Morgan ki rating advisory service de kumfunya me rate kura kumfunya ki Standard & Poor me de kumfunya wahada ko me gendani agona la fa kure goto March me kuri ko me kola de kumfuni consultant raj as masakete kuran kura masakete ko ba to den ko swal fedan kanne ase එමෙහිම බලන්නේ රාජ්‍යයේ ඉක්තිසාදී हालत රාජ්‍යයේ මාලී हालत රාජ්‍යයේ සියාසී කන්තත රාජ්‍යයේ මේ ඉස්තමායි කන්තත මේ කුරීග රාජ්‍ය මේ හිඟමු ආ ස්පීඩා කුරියෙන් ඔත්තාග රාජ්‍යයේ තරග්ගී කුරන් ෆියාල් කුෆර් කන්තතස් එමෙහු මේ දිරාසා කුරාන එම් ෆුදේක බෝඩ් ස්ටඩින් හදා රාජ්‍ය බේකොතුමස් රේට් කුරුම කුරි එම් මිකා ස්ටඩි හෙදම ෆෝ දෙන් එතන කුෆුනි බෝඩ් නිර්මාණ රාජ්‍ය දෙනි ट्रिपल A तो नोट ट्रिपल B तो नोट B माइनस तो एक का रेटिंग देना ये रेटिंग हेदुमुग बेने को बात मी मार्क्स लिबम एरो सर आउन गाँव मिसा का बॉन्डिंग इशू करम बेलिकम गाबिस फसे वानस आदि बेरू इन्वेस्टर्स राज्य इन्वेस्ट कुर्मुगस बदान को राज्य रेटिंग को बात ट्रिपल A तो नोट ट्रिपल B तो एरो एमो कॉन्फिडेंस उन्ना देखा मैं हास राज्य सरकार बजट हम जिसमें दारी होदं अदी बॉन्डिंग शूकरम बेलकम गस फसेवे गन्नान अदी राज्य इन्वेस्ट कुरा फरातक बस उन राज्य उन इतबारस मिक्स अवन बोडवे गन्नान हम आगुंदन मी वर बोड कुरियर मको वाने राज्य लिबे मी रेटिंग हिदिम
Ada awun mi adiche danwada mi komme mi rating hadani ki godkawes gidan loan na gumu benu magano ekan hanno hul batwat e loan nagan je jahalate gaves loan livuma fase hogen dane e onna rating nege saw adegi tura rajyege private sector adi public sector miren public umhurita kun kama ves adi berugo investor kama ves invest kuran government anna adi loan hodan amile faratu kun benu yes fase hoan wara boduta mi oin hisaben ngunim ema misalaka danwa ko manya mi kuri gado salamatun to nota nun to ene yagin vejjiya ene wara bodu hibare ngunna mi ene engi huruma wara emima ekan denagatu mattaka agon mi kan ko benu ma agon mango standard status olum filo mattaka agon ma tikya hisabe goto emima ekan ko mattaka agon mi kan kurawa ka danwa
kuri fas rasmi so
අලුත් සුවාලකේ සරකාරන් කොම්මේ හරකු එබ කණ්ඩායලා තපත් තරග්ගිගේ මස්ටෝත එගතුන් සරකාර බජට් පාස් එකෙන් ගන්න නිවෙස් එපද කන්තත්තක බෑනුව හරදිතක ඇච්ච හිමනාගේ වීරු කීපකින් තෝ එර්රෂෙක්ගේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් නිම්මා පනර්රෂෙක්ගේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් සටහන් මිසාක පළෆුන් කරුම් එක කන්තත්ත අලගොඩුන්නේ පෙන්නනේ එර්රෂෙන් නිම්මා පනර්රෂ දාය දෙම්මි කන්තත්ත මිදනේ දිකු දෙමිගේ Nambi mikantaga vegotu mikantaga medu ardana gotegge mikantata hinga ebbe sarga bisna tangole lui gotek
ad mi wagoti ki mi sarkaru budgetu kandala wagati vidalo na wana be bodu beki budgetu gwa kananga kan wonda hiwani ekan kurabani amali gotun he ministry ta ko ministry akon mat Ministry of Planning and National Planning and Ministry of Planning and Ministry Bamigandoni PSIP project taka hinga kandata etanu kandalu mani den amali masaka hingawani aneka hem planning ministry bami PSIP migandani anabami gandoni aneka hem ministry ko Maruf Jamil on public works infrastructure ministry of infrastructure and public works then me gendaro mi capacity masake kurumuge qabil ko huri farata maduwegen efara hurihara shega budget ko kandere hoto senu jesene ngato emma mi misalaka diha rashuga efara fal ko no ta rashuga fal ko no nya rashuga fal ko ne munima no ta tanu kantata ne munima ne rashuga me devane awon me bedanje duisa tarang awon me complete sate kono dia harak hydra kanne me hare bo ema every ha dimala ka danje wagote ki mi denne me capacity uri mimar ko rakkan benaga mandar hadan gaganda ka rangala muddate awon ka danwakna by far kan dima wagotu hay kamastu adi obras di goenge be de kanne ka bayra hane bayra me pura ava beste ema ya be gotu saaf ecche danwange geni e ministry ta ko ngeta awonda wala undogwana ya be gotu saaf jawabe danno e ko mi denne me awonda engi phone nogotum ya midenne den mi agunu ga kaligum bima den kommesorege malumata aguna sure kam ga den em bima e hin karne ge wani ngeta fahara puri hadi man ko na mena
deme kurifasun kurimese Qasim Ibrahim dalu ministry agulu neswale kan ever hardana ko kurwen masake hingmo ke himparate kan plane ministry construction ministry ade agulige ituru nuseri ituru swal tak edwada pari mihar kandal per waktu fundament ituru besingaj kuriha nuseri na fursat den nimma poti telun fundament ituru negi warboda mahafaz tanno adu warboda shukriya war ginwa gutta ke hed kurati ministry very mis adu kuriha nuseri nus ide be ballu matta warboda shukru tanno assalamu alaikum